active or planning to become active in the practice of lucid dreaming, please heed my warning. It is a very dangerous practice. Your mind, your subconscious, it doesn't want you to find something out. My friend learned the hard way. I learned about lucid dreaming after a school program trip to sleep clinics. I learned about it and how to do it. Me and my friend both. He and I talked about it later and we decided we wanted to try it together. The first night it was difficult. I ended up controlling myself for a little bit but lost control. Come to find out my friend had the same problem. He and I suggested for about a week and a half, but we finally got the hang of it. We were able to control our dreams until the next morning. It was pretty awesome being able to interact with our minds. The best part was that we could remember our dreams, the whole dream. It was cool trying to place events and how you got there, kind of like Inception. I cracked a joke that we need to go deeper to my friend, and he said we should. I was puzzled with what he said. We saw this and explained, a couple nights ago I found a door in my dream. It was labeled Innermost Thoughts, and it had Stay Out printed in yellow black striped letters. I didn't pay attention to it, but I'm pretty sure it leads deeper into our dreams. He asked if I'd seen this door. I hadn't seen it yet, but at least to what I could remember, he said that once I see it, to tell him. The bell rang and we went to class. In math, I pondered a question in my head. Why would there be a door like that in a dream? What does your mind not want you to know? It started to scare me, but I thought maybe he imagined it. I pushed it to the back of my mind and got on with my day. It was 2 nights, and I noticed the door, the one my friend had mentioned. I asked one of the people in my dream what it led to. The girl looked at me and said only one word, no, and turned and ran away. I was shocked at her response, slightly worried by it. I took note of it and ran with her. The next day I told my friend of my experience. He then shared of his experience. He told of how he reached for the handle and the guy slapped his hand and told him no. This was strange, I thought. He said, let's go in tonight. I warily agreed. He told me not to worry about it, but I was still slightly uneasy. That night in my dream, I opened the door and it slipped in there. It wasn't too bad when I entered. Just some old memories, even stuff I didn't know I encountered. I got a little deeper and I felt a hand on my shoulder. Turned around and there was that girl again, except she was different, kind of twisted. Her skin was paler, she was skinnier, and she was wounded. She had a bruise on her face and a couple of cuts. Her clothing was also ripped. She looked scared even. She looked at me, waved her finger and said, no. And then I woke up. The next day I had talked to my friend. I could tell he was slightly disturbed. He told me about his experience, which was similar to mine, just instead of a girl, it was a guy. We decided to try to head farther into the door. I hesitantly agreed. That night I struggled getting into a dream. I kept thinking of what I might find. I finally was able to do it. I wandered through the dream trying to find the door, and I finally found it and entered. I made it past to where I stopped last time. Looking at the scenes, the memories that were playing on, I noticed something strange. These memories seemed to be from before I was born. I don't think I ever met Lewis and Clark. I got to the point where I reached 3 more doors. They were labeled Fears, Memories Continued, and Subconscious Thoughts. I wanted to see more memories, but as I reached for the door, I woke up. Damn! I talked to my friend over the phone. He sounded scared, saying that he was attacked in his dream. I got the doors, and they were waiting for me. They had clubs and brass knuckles. I couldn't run. They just beat me. I woke up with bruises and a fat lip. I asked if we should continue, hoping he'd stop. Yes, we need to find out what our minds are trying to hide. I sat there, comprehending why he might be doing this. After a couple of minutes of silence, I snapped back when he asked if I was still there. We talked for another 4 or 5 minutes and went on with our Saturdays. That night, I couldn't get to dreaming. The fear kicked in, and I thought, what if I get attacked? What if they try to kill me? Finally, after about an hour, I was able to go into the dream. I got in there, and I was on a cliff. My hands and feet were tied. I turned around to see the girl. She had a huge grin on her face. She looked even skinnier this time. She had blood specks. Her face had the life sucked out of it. She said in a raspy voice, "I told you no, and you didn't listen. Now you must pay." She pulled out a knife and started walking towards me, chuckling with every step. Every step she took towards me, I took back towards the edge. I stopped right on the edge, and by the time she reached me, she was laughing as hard as she could. Then she pushed me, just nudged me with her shoulder, and down I fell, screaming the whole time. Just before I reached the ground, I was shaken awake. It was my mom. I wondered why the hell I was screaming. I gave her a huge hug and said it was a nightmare. I decided to go back to sleep to get my mind off of it. Sunday morning, I gave my friend a call. No answer. Maybe he didn't hear me. Another try. No answer. I decided to walk to his house. When I got there, I saw his mother crying on the porch in an ambulance. I ran to the porch. I asked what happened. He, he killed himself, she said through the tears. She thought he killed himself. I know what really happened. She handed me an envelope. He wanted you to have this. It had my name on it, and it said lucid dreaming on it. I quickly ran home to see what was inside. I went in my room and opened the envelope. It was a letter. "I'm probably not going to make it after tonight. I don't want you to get hurt, so I'm going to hope you stop, but I can't make you. I want you to know, I knew they were going to kill me. After beating me, the boy told me that if I did it again, he will kill me. He knew what was going to happen, yet he went after it. Why?" He didn't write any more. I needed answers, so where better to find them than the people who came up with the question? I went into my mind that night. Fairly early, I was eager to go in. Too eager that I couldn't do it for quite some time. When I finally did, it was different. It was dark and it was snowing ash. There was blood, guts, and bones everywhere. I heard a distant noise. It sounded like some eating very loudly. I followed the noise to a group of people. The kids from the previous dreams. They were eating something. I stepped closer and snapped a branch or a bone, and they stopped and turned. They were horrifying. They had rotten tooth smiles. They gouged out their eyes and they couldn't stop smiling. They said in perfect dark unison, "Your friend didn't listen, and he paid the price. Now it's your turn." They started walking towards me. The front one, the girl, drew a knife. I tripped and fell. She got closer. She whispered when she got to me, "You'll be one of us now." I was then awakened. My dad tackled me with a knife in my hand. My parents admitted me to a psychological hospital. I was never able to sleep. I always had dreams of them chasing me, trying to get me. How am I telling you this? This is the only note that the doctor found. I'm finally giving in. I don't know how it'll end, but it'll probably be messy. Please, heed my warning. Don't let them catch you. Don't mess with your own mind. My parents admitted me to a psychological hospital. I was never able to sleep. I always had dreams of them chasing me, trying to get me. How am I telling you this? This is the only note that the doctor found. I'm finally giving in. I don't know how it'll end, but it'll probably be messy. Please, heed my warning. Don't let them catch you. Don't mess with your own mind.